This quickie is about JavaFX Everywhere. I will give you a short overview about JavaFX on different platforms and, like I said, 3 demos that I thought might make sense to show you. So first of all, my name is Gerrit Grunwald. I'm working for Canoo Engineering in Switzerland, mainly doing JavaFX at the moment, and otherwise desktop-related stuff in Java and IoT. So these are the platforms that we have for JavaFX. The official ones on the right side, so we have desktop for sure, which is running JavaFX 8 based on OpenJFX, officially supported by Oracle. Then we have the ARM port of JavaFX, also running on JavaFX 8 based on OpenJFX and also supported officially by Oracle. Then the more interesting things is the blue and the green one. It's iOS and Android, which are both based on JavaFX 2. They are coming from the community. There's no official support from Oracle, and they are based on a project called JFX 7.8, which is a backport of the JavaFX features into the Delvik runtime engine, which makes it possible to use JavaFX as UI framework on Android and on iOS. So to give you an idea, I created a little demo project that is something like this. So it should be a JavaFX application running on all that platforms. It will monitor a sensor network, or it does monitor a sensor network. So I try to apply the WORA principle, means write once, run anywhere. So I try to use one code base and reuse as much code as possible and just try to only change the UI code because of the different resolutions. And I will use this project to test some capabilities and possibilities of JavaFX on these platforms, because it's not given that you can, for example, use third-party libraries on iOS or on Android, so stuff like that. That's the idea behind that demo project. So on the devices that I tested that demo project on is stuff that I have at home, which is my MacBook Pro. Then I have an iPad mini Retina. I tested it on the Nexus 7 running Android, then on a no-name Android-based 7-inch tablet, which is really $50. Then on a Raspberry Pi, on a so-called QBox-i, which is an IMX6-based embedded device like that size, just 5 by 5 centimeters, very small. And on that watch that I have on my wrist, which is, again, running Android. It's a smartwatch, which is, in principle, this is a complete phone. It has also a video camera, so you can use it for Skype if you like. Okay. To give you an idea about the application that I wrote, I just grabbed some screenshots from the desktop edition. So this is the main screen, and you see I have some touchable menu here because I would like to use it on an iPad, for example. I have some sensor data that I get via MQTT, which is a communication protocol that's very famous in IoT. Then I get weather information via HTTP protocol, and here, for example, I get data from a MongoDB instance. That's the first screen. Then the second one, and I show you the screens because you will see after that, you will see the video that I pre-recorded on all that devices, so you can see how this behaves on that devices. Then I use some blur effects to check if I can use effects on that devices. Here you see the menu opened. The next screen will be, I use custom controls that I created, and you will see it on the video. They will slide in, so I use animations to do that, and of course these gauges are animated too. And this is, for example, these are the data from my sensor network that I have at home. And also this data is coming via MQTT. So I ask, for example, on the network for the data via an MQTT message, and then the MongoDB will publish the stuff back via MQTT to the application. And this is also, again, custom controls that I wrote myself. Then I try to check if JavaFX charts. JavaFX comes with charts, so try these charts on the different devices. Does they work? Then the next one was, this is a custom chart that I wrote. See if this works, because it's based on canvas in JavaFX, which is a little bit different from rendering perspective. And then I have some standard radio buttons that I just styled via CSS. So this is in principle the application that I wrote to monitor my sensor network at home. And it uses HTTP via the network, MQTT. It connects to MongoDB. It uses effects, animations, and transitions that you will see. It uses the charts from JavaFX, and it uses different custom controls, just to give you an idea what you will see in a couple of minutes. So the challenge was to build all versions on one code base. So this is really, I have one project, and if I say build all, it builds it for all, for the iOS, for Android, for the Raspberry Pi, for example, for the QboxEye, for desktop. I get all that stuff with one project. It's a multi-project Gradle build, and it uses third-party libraries, for example, for MQTT, so that's possible. And the other thing was to get acceptable performance, because a Pi 700 megahertz, one CPU, one GPU, compared to, for example, my MacBook Pro, which has 384 cores alone on the GPU, right? So this is, it's hard to get the same performance from the desktop as on the Raspberry Pi or even on that watch. So that was the challenge. So let's start with the ARM port. That was based on JavaFX 8, and you get support by Oracle, right? Just to keep that in mind. And to give you a little demo, I created a video, and this is the QboxEye. That's just 5 by 5 centimeters small. So this is the application now running on this device, and you see I have animations here, and it's hardware accelerated, and it's running by 1280 by 800, which is quite big for such a small device. And as you can see, I have the touch device. You see a mouse pointer in this case because I have to record it somehow, so I have to use the mouse. That was to get a better video quality. And here you can see some facts about this little computer. It's a quad-core running with 1 gigahertz, so it's quite powerful. And you see animations does work. I have another touch menu there. All that stuff looks not bad. Even the charts are fine, except here you see a little displacement of the legend. Smaller things that doesn't really work, right? But overall, you can see with such a small device, you can use JavaFX for IoT, for doing displays that you find somewhere at airports or stores or something like that. Even the chart, no problem with this one, right? So you see, this is just gives you an idea. This is horizontally laid out. You will see the iOS thing, because the iPad is more vertical. I use a little bit different layout, which results in changes in the code, right? So I have one class for each project that is different. I have 40 classes for the whole project, and the main class for each device is the only thing that is different. And between these different versions, sometimes it's just 9 changes, and this is most of the times because I have to change resolution and that stuff. So this is the QboxEye, and you saw it was not that bad. So let's take a look at the iOS port, right? If I have iOS port, I can only use JavaFX 2 at the moment. It's planned to also port it to JavaFX 8, but at the moment it's just JavaFX 2. This needs so-called project RoboVM, which compiles bytecode, cross-compiles it to Objective-C. That means you have a native application, you can deploy it to the App Store, and in fact you will find up to, I think, more than 30 apps running on Java in the App Store already. This is not JavaFX, it's Java, but RoboVM just compiles Java bytecode to Objective-C. But you can also use JavaFX. This stuff is community-driven, and only by one guy. It's Niklas Turning, who created the RoboVM alone, and you will see the result when I show you the demo. Then you will see that he does a good job. So I tested that on my iPad mini Retina. So you will see now, this is the exact same code running just on a different device, recorded on my device. And as you can see, now this is a vertical layout, but in principle, it does the same. So I can touch the menu on the lower left corner. It will blur the background, so all that stuff works. Animations are, you see, it's not that fluent, right? If you run it on the desktop, it's really like, but here, and the problem with iOS is it really depends on the hardware. I tested the same code on my iPhone 5, which is just 2.5 years old. You can forget about it. It's too slow, in fact. The iPad mini Retina, fast, no problem at all. So that's the problem also on the Android devices. So on the very cheap one, for 50 euros, it works, but it's slow. On the Nexus 7, which is nearly 3 years old, it was no problem. It depends really on the hardware. And the iPad mini Retina has quite up-to-date hardware, so that it was not a surprise that it's really good. Okay, so you see here some rendering artifacts. This is the problem when you cross-compile all that stuff. That was the reason why I tested the different effects and canvas-based nodes and all that, because the rendering is different. It seems that on iOS, the canvas node in JavaFX sometimes has some problems with rendering stuff. It just forgets things to render, so you have to render it twice to get it really. But that was the iOS version. So usually this session is an hour, so I try to strip down 93 slides to 36, so that's the reason why I have to hurry a little bit. If you would like to support this project, you will find it at robovm.org, and I think you can support it from up to $15, and that will help Nicholas to get it running. But let us take a look at the Android port. So this is, again, based on JavaFX 2. I have to say again, at the moment, I know that the people are working on building it on JavaFX 8, even with Lambda support, that's planned. So this is in the pipe. This is again community-driven, no official support from Oracle, and these are two guys, this is Johan Voss and Thomas Brandlich, that are doing this stuff for the community, and they really do a great job. So instead of showing you, I have to see, Nexus 7, I will show you running it on this watch, the application. And you will see the user interface is different because I only have 320 by 295 pixels. I have to put the same information in there, so I decided going with this. But you see, it doesn't look that bad. Even the animations work. I have this charting with the MongoDB stuff. I have transitions working. I have SVG icons. The rendering is no problem, and even the performance on this watch is not bad. But you see, it's a dual-core ARM A9 processor. It's also a quite powerful watch. Instead of showing them all at once, I just show one at a time, so I can use swipe effects on that device. I use it with the finger, that's no problem. And you see, it's not that bad. Unfortunately, I can't show all the stuff, right? So the charts, for example, doesn't make sense to show them on 320 pixels. You won't see anything. I tried that. I really skipped that stuff. Even the radar chart was too small. So I decided to only go with the important things. These are the live data. In that case, there was no data because the sensor was broken. But in principle, you can see you can also use JavaFX on a device like a smartwatch, on a wearable device, which is possible because this is a phone. I can also connect to the internet, so I can really use MQTT and all that stuff. So the conclusion from that is JavaFX, of course, is suitable for desktop, even if Java on desktop is dead, right? That's people say that for years. It's suitable for embedded, definitely. So if you have some devices that should show something like, let's say you have some central panel that should control your home automation, perfect fit for JavaFX here. And it is possible to do mobile development with that, but that depends really on the used hardware. So if you have low power hardware, then it's kind of slow. But if the hardware is up to date, then this is no problem at all. And I made it, and we even have time for questions, if there are any questions. So if you have any questions related to JavaFX on that devices, just now is your chance. Otherwise, you have to grab me on the floor somewhere. Any questions? No? One? Yes?
Should we stop teaching Java on the desktop? Should students no longer learn what a J-frame is?
No. Okay. You can use Swing, right? But I'm working in a company, and we only do Java on desktop, and the company is there for nearly 20 years. So the Java on the desktop is still alive, even if it's not that hyped anymore, like it was 10, 15 years ago, but it's still there. And JavaFX is just another UI framework that should replace Swing. That's the only thing this is new. So it's not, you should not teach Java on the desktop, but you should teach JavaFX on the desktop then. Yes?
Let's say you have a legacy code which is in Swing. How interoperable is Swing and JavaFX? So Swing inside JavaFX and vice versa?
Yeah, so the question was how interoperable is JavaFX with Swing? This is no problem. We have two different kinds you can do. You can use your Swing application and embed JavaFX using JFX panel. You can also build a new JavaFX application and using Swing node to embed Swing components into JavaFX. So this works both ways. And we did this at a customer project. That was no problem.
Any limitations that you saw in
If you use a lot of the Swing nodes, it can get slow. So this is, but JFX panels, so means JavaFX and Swing, there is no performance problem at all. Anything else? Then thanks for attending.